I woke up before sunrise again, but this time I wasn't afraid of losing. I was afraid of repeating myself. The day before had left a mark on me, not because the loss was massive, but because of what it exposed. I had broken my rules, moved my stop, and turned fear into a strategy. That was the part I couldn't stop thinking about. Not the money. Me. The chart had only reflected something that was already unstable inside me. And for the first time, I realized the market wasn't my real opponent. So that morning, I made a promise I didn't fully trust yet. I would trade smaller. I would wait longer. I would only take one setup if it was clean. No forcing, no chasing, no trying to win back my confidence with a chart, no emotional clicking, no pretending that urgency was discipline. If I wanted a different result, I needed to become a different version of myself. Even if only for one day. I wrote it all down before I even opened the market. I wanted the words in front of me before the pressure arrived. I didn't trust my mind once the candle started moving. I needed something solid to return to when emotion tried to take over. One good trade, one clean decision. Then stop. No exceptions, no negotiations with fear, no deals with greed. The house was quiet. My coffee sat next to the keyboard, untouched. The screen glowed in front of me, and for once, I wasn't looking for action. I was looking for proof that I could control myself. That mattered more than money now. Because after yesterday, I knew something dangerous. If I couldn't manage my emotions, no strategy in the world would save me. And deep down, I knew this wasn't just about trading anymore. It was about whether I could trust myself under pressure. The market opened slowly. Candles formed. Price moved. A few setups almost appeared, but not quite. Normally, that would have irritated me. Normally, I would have started convincing myself that almost good was good enough. But I didn't. I just watched. I let the chart breathe without trying to force meaning into every movement. It felt unnatural, like learning how to stay still in a room designed to provoke you. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then 40. The silence between decisions felt heavier than the decisions themselves. I could feel impatience trying to sneak in through small thoughts. Maybe this is close enough. Maybe I should just take something. Maybe waiting is another way of being scared. And then I saw it. It wasn't perfect, but it was clear. A clean level, a reaction, a retest. It matched the notes I had written in my journal the night before. My heart rate rose, but not like yesterday. Yesterday felt like panic. This felt like responsibility. It felt like the kind of moment that asks you who you really are when no one is there to guide you. Not exciting, not dramatic, just serious. I entered small. Smaller than I wanted to, smaller than my ego liked. The size almost offended the desperate part of me that wanted to prove something fast, but that was exactly why it was the right size. The moment I clicked, I could feel my mind trying to race ahead. What if this works? What if this is the one that changes everything? What if I'm finally getting it? What if this is the start of the comeback I needed? What if today is the day I finally feel in control again? I shut those thoughts down as fast as they came. Just follow the trade. Just respect the plan. Just stay where you are and let the market decide, not your emotions. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then price moved slightly in my favor. A little green number appeared on the screen. Tiny, harmless. But I knew better now. Small green numbers can be more dangerous than red ones because they make you imagine too much. They make you want more before you've earned it. They whisper that maybe today can fix everything. And that whisper is often where discipline starts to die. So I stayed still. I kept my hands off the mouse. I forced myself to breathe normally, even though my chest was tightening with every tick. I kept looking back at my rules instead of the profit number. The trade pulled back. My chest tightened. Yesterday's version of me would have panicked. Yesterday's version of me would have stared at every tick like it was a verdict on my future. But this time, I let it breathe. I looked at my stop. I looked at my plan. I kept my hands off the mouse. I let the discomfort stay in the room without trying to escape it. That alone felt harder than the trade itself. Then it moved. Not violently, not dramatically, just steadily enough to feel real. No explosion, no cinematic reversal. Just a quiet shift in my favor that felt almost suspicious. The green number grew. My pulse rose with it. I should have felt excited. I should have felt relief. I should have felt like I was finally proving something. But what I actually felt was tension, because now there was something to lose. And weirdly, that felt heavier than being in red. Loss had always felt familiar. Profit felt fragile. That was the first strange part. I realized I was more uncomfortable being right than being wrong. When I was losing, at least the pain was familiar. But winning came with a new kind of pressure. Now I had to protect it. Now I had to decide when enough was enough. Now greed had a voice, and greed sounded calm, persuasive, almost intelligent. It didn't scream. It suggested, take more, hold longer. This could be the start. Don't be weak. Don't cash out too early. If you really believe in your setup, prove it. If you want to become a trader, act like one. I hated how convincing that voice sounded. It didn't sound reckless. It sounded reasonable. That made it more dangerous. I scaled out a little, locked something in. Not huge, not life-changing, but real. My first real profit. The kind of number that wouldn't impress anybody else, but meant everything to me. Because it was earned inside a storm I almost lost control of. And when I saw it sitting there on the screen, green and undeniable, I waited for the feeling I'd imagined for weeks. I waited for relief. I waited for satisfaction. I waited for that movie moment where all the struggle suddenly makes sense. It didn't come. There was no rush of victory, no relief, no moment where I leaned back and thought, I made it. If anything, I felt worse. Not because the trade was bad, because the profit didn't heal anything. It didn't erase the pressure in my chest. It didn't erase my dad's voice. It didn't erase the image of myself moving that stop yesterday like fear was in control of my hand. The money was real, but the peace I wanted still wasn't there. I had won, technically, but I didn't feel like a winner. I felt like someone who had survived a test and immediately realized there would be another one tomorrow. The green number looked smaller the longer I stared at it. I closed the trade and just sat there staring at the number. It was green. It was clean. It followed the rules. It should have felt good. Instead, it felt small, fragile, temporary. Like if I smiled too early, the market would take it back tomorrow. Like the profit belonged to the chart more than it belonged to me. That's when I understood something I hadn't understood before. I wasn't just trading for money. I was trading for emotional relief. I was trying to use the market like medicine. I wanted proof, validation, peace, respect, all from candles on a screen. And that meant every green candle carried too much weight. Every loss would feel like rejection. Every win would feel like pressure. That isn't trading. That's dependence disguised as ambition. My phone buzzed on the desk. A message from my dad. How's trading? Just 3 words. But they hit harder than they should have. Because I knew what he meant. He wasn't asking about my mindset. He wasn't asking whether I followed the rules. He was asking the one question that had taken over my life. Is it working? Is your decision justified yet? Was I wrong about you? I looked back at the screen. The answer should have been easy. I had just made money. Real money. I should have been able to type, good. I should have been able to say, I finally had a green day. I should have felt proud enough to send proof. But my fingers didn't move. Because how could I explain something I didn't understand myself? How could I tell him I won and still felt worse than before? How could I explain that success had somehow created a new kind of fear? I put the phone face down and opened my notebook. I stared at the blank page for a long time before I finally wrote, my first win didn't feel like winning. Then I added, it felt like the beginning of a new fear. And the second I wrote that, I knew it was true. That was the truth. Losing had scared me, yes, but winning introduced something new. Attachment. Now I knew I could do it. Now I knew profit was possible, and that made me want it more. Protect it more. Chase it more. That desire was quieter than panic. But in some ways, more dangerous. Panic is loud. You can see it coming. Greed often arrives wearing discipline's face. I shut the laptop and sat in silence. The day had given me exactly what I thought I wanted. A clean trade. A green result. Proof that I wasn't completely delusional. Proof that I could follow a plan, at least once. So why did I still feel empty? Maybe because the market had exposed another truth I didn't want to face. I thought money would calm me down, but all it did was change the shape of the pressure. Before, I was scared of losing. Now, I was scared of losing what I'd gained. It was the same fear in a different mask. And that night, when my mom asked if things were getting better, I almost said yes. Almost. I could hear the word forming. It would have been the easiest answer, the kind answer, the answer people want when they're hoping you're okay. But something in me hesitated because I could already feel the next mistake forming, not from fear this time, but from the need to prove that today wasn't luck. I didn't just want another good trade. I wanted confirmation. I wanted certainty. And those are dangerous things to demand from a market. That's when I understood the real trap. The first loss makes beginners emotional. The first win makes them dangerous, because now they think they've touched the thing they were chasing, and they start believing they can force it to happen again. And the next day, I was going to find out which one I had become. A student finally learning patience, or someone quietly becoming addicted to being right.